I'm going to tell you guys a story of how All by Mama got started. Prior to me having kids, I went and did some volunteering in South Africa, and I volunteered in a township in Fishhook, and I looked after children while their mothers went to work. And these mothers were the most incredible women, or are the most incredible women, and they made product out of recycled materials basically. So they'd make necklaces or artwork, and it was just so inspiring. And yeah, I wasn't a mum at the time, but I was just so inspired by everything that they were facing and how they were going out to work and producing this really brilliant stuff that was sold in the gift shops in Cape Town. So my original idea was to get that product, export it into the UK, sell it, and send profits back. And this was kind of 7 or so years ago. At the time, I didn't have the business experience. I came back to the UK, went back into my full-time job, which was at a marketing agency, and the idea just kind of fell to the wayside. Then I had my first son. I took a maternity leave, and I did go back to work for 4 days a week after he was born, when he was about a year old. But I couldn't make it work. I just couldn't make it work. My job was really intense. I absolutely loved it, and the company that I worked for were amazing. But I really needed more flexibility. Like, it's an age-old story that we've all probably told. So I decided to just go it alone. I was thinking about what I could do, thought back to my original idea. Again, didn't have the experience to make that happen, but instead looked at, basically at the time, what was a kind of UK version, in that I wanted to support entrepreneurial mothers in the UK. So the business was born in November 2014, and it originally was a marketplace selling gifts made by mums, and obviously that's still part of the business today. And it was the first marketplace in the world to focus on selling gifts made by mums. And it's been a steep learning curve since that point in November 2014. So we launched, this is a very quick version of all the things that happened. I spent a lot of money on the launch that I now know I didn't need to spend. If you haven't read it and you're launching, read The Lean Startup, because it's full of great advice, and you don't need to spend a lot of money at the start in terms of tech and design and all those kind of things. So after I launched, I got to about 6 month point. I put a load of savings in, and I was running out of money. And I also realised that to build a marketplace that works, you need to invest a little bit more in tech than what I realised. So I decided that I'd go down the route of investment. I raised £20,000 6 months after launch, and then I went on to raise £75,000 via crowdfunding with Crowdkeep. So that's equity investment. And that money basically allowed me to put some money behind marketing, but mainly it was to build the tech, to build out the marketplace. So when we launched on WordPress, which was I still stand by that launch, and launching kind of the beta site on a platform that I knew wouldn't scale. But once I got to the point of proof of concept, I knew I needed to invest in tech. So that investment was basically for tech. Fast forward a little bit, and a few kind of stages that we went through, mistakes that we made along the way, which I'll come back and talk about another time. We raised another 125k from angel investors, and that was again to improve the tech further and create a bespoke website, which is the website we now have. And I brought 3 non-execs into the business, Sophie, Nick and Mike, and we work really closely now. There are incredible, fantastic advisors that I have by my side, which has made such a big difference. I've been through 2 business accelerators. So I went through a business accelerator called it was called Entrepreneurial Spark at the time, but after I went through it, it must have been about, I can't remember, 2 or 3 years ago, it was bought by NatWest, and it's now called something like NatWest Business Accelerator or Business Startup Accelerator, something like that. Anyway, that was great. And I was mentored by an amazing person called Jodie, who, if you're watching this on Instagram, I'll tag. And yeah, she was fantastic, and she really kind of helped me every other week push my business forward and answer questions and kind of kept me going. And then a few months after that, I joined another accelerator called Ignite, and that was a more intense accelerator. It was a 6-month accelerator. There was a cohort of 6 other businesses, and I travelled around the UK with them, meeting advisors, investors, and just really learning from some people that know their stuff. Off the back of that accelerator, which was 2019, I started to think about our brand values and our business model. And one of the advisors or mentors that I was working with during the accelerator was really adamant about a membership community. And, we've been thinking about this. We actually tried it back in 2015. It didn't work. So, the timing has to be right for a membership community. But yeah, and it made me reevaluate that, and we kind of soft launched our membership in September, October last year, and I partnered with Donna, who is the Curious Mummy, and we kind of launched that together. And yeah, ever since then we formally launched the membership side in 2020, and we're growing that alongside the marketplace. So that's a whistle-stop tour of the business. There is a lot I have missed out, but it gives you an idea of kind of where we started and where we are now. I rebranded after 2 years. We started off with kind of a pink logo and a pink brand colour, and we rebranded to the mint, and the brand colours and fonts and stuff that we have today. One of the things we did do at the start was we went to the Handmade Fair. So when I launched, the business was more kind of focused towards craft businesses and less towards entrepreneurial mothers. And the Handmade Fair was a great place to find those kind of businesses. So we went to the Handmade Fair, and we took a stall that we got a really good deal on. We took it last minute, and we just literally had a table, some graphics designed, and they said this, and it said, "This is our idea. Would you support it? Do you like it?" And we just asked for people's feedback over 3 days, basically, and got the beginnings of a mailing list together. And that was so valuable at the time, because we avoided some really big mistakes that we were going to make at launch just by talking to people and getting their feedback. And it gave us a mailing list to launch to as well when we did launch a few months later, or a few weeks later actually, after the Handmade Fair. So that was a really good test and learn. And one thing I guess that I've learned along the way with this business is that it's unlikely the business you launch with is a business that you're going to continue to grow. You need to adapt and listen to what's happening in your business, and definitely this business has changed and grown, and I think that's a positive thing. And you can't be afraid to change. So yeah, that's a little bit of a summary. If you've got any questions for me, please put them below in comments or DM me, depending where you're watching this. And yeah, I'm going to start sharing a little bit more about some of the details, some of the things about some of the advisors that I've worked with and how that's worked, our non-execs, our investment raises, some of our validation work, so kind of talking to customers and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy that. And yeah, any questions, let me know.